Hello, everybody, and we are back for another episode of the Spread Podcast. Once again, I'm Joseph, your host. I'm here with my boys George and Christian again. We got a lot more to get into than last episode. Obviously, some sad stuff to start it off. You know, a rough weekend in Toronto. George, what do we think?
Before I make my comments on it, I want to turn to the neutral before Jays fans have our opinions on it, because it's not going to end well if we start talking about it. I want to hear from the neutral first.
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself totally neutral. I do dislike the Dodgers. Are probably my least favorite team. But I think that the Blue Jays had a ton of chances. They had ample chances to end it. That slide, literally, when we see it's a game of inches, it literally was. That slide, had it been a second earlier, would have won them the World Series. Unfortunate to have that ball wedged in there. And just Game 7, having that 3-0 lead, having the lead in the ninth, they just had it so many times, and they just continuously blew it.
Yeah.
They were the better team that for most of that series. They should have won that series, but ultimately they blew it. And I think that just has to be a learning experience for them going forward.
Damn it, man! How did they lose that game, man?
I don't know. I got no idea.
I don't know how they lost that game, and
It was fate.
it's yeah. Part of it feels like that, and the other part of it feels like it was just not our year. I have not many words about what happened that day. Me and Joseph were at the Scotiabank Arena for the watch party for Game 7. And immediately, I think you saw this too as well. Yeah. Immediately, right when the game ended, it was just quiet. Everyone just was rushing out.
Yep.
And what everyone expected, which was a big party and elation and excitement and joy, in an instant just turned into sadness, quiet, depression, and just anger almost. It was just terrible to watch, and it was just not ideal. Not ideal at all.
I will say this till the day I die: the Jays deserve to win that game, to win that series. Like, they were the better team. I don't want to hear anyone debate against that.
Well, on paper, the Dodgers are the better team,
on
but
paper,
they did not play like it.
But they didn't play
They did not play like it.
They got a couple solo home runs.
Yeah.
And that's what won them the game.
Right.
No.
And they got some lucky defensive plays. They got some lucky, like a broken bat.
No,
Are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah. Juan Kirk.
Come on, like that is like very lucky. You know, I'm not gonna blame it on one certain guy on the Jays, because it's not any of their faults. Like, the offense missed out on a lot of chances, and the defense was pretty good for the most part. I mean, the pitching, you're gonna let up a couple solo home runs, but the offense should have, supplied with the run.
For me, it was just a combination of things.
Yeah,
I honestly,
agree.
One of my biggest fears going into that Game 7 was, how is Schneider going to manage the game with his pitchers, and who's he going to bring in?
Scherzer played a great game.
He did his job
honestly,
perfectly fine.
This was one of the first games that I've watched from him in this playoffs. Like, one of the few games where I was like, I like that move. I like what he's doing right now. I like this game plan, and the way he went about it. I enjoyed. I thought he did almost everything right. Just can't win them all. I also saw a stat as well that apparently the Dodgers batted just a little bit over 200 in the series,
entire World Series.
And they got outscored 34-26 in the entire series, which just shows to you who the better team was at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, end of the day, one team has the trophy and the other one doesn't.
Some other news in baseball, big news out of Toronto, is Shane Bieber opted into his contract.
That's good.
I think is significant, and that is like a huge deal for them to make, especially now. Guys, I think Bichette's going to resign. I don't see Bichette
Most
leaving.
likely.
I hope he does, because if not, they are.
If I were to make a bet right now, I would place for him to stay in Toronto. I don't think he's going to leave. Christian, what do you think? You think he stays?
I think he'd stay. I think the Giants could be a potential fit. But I think, overwhelmingly, what we're seeing is that they are trying to get a deal done. He is going to stay. I mean, he's one of the pieces of the core, so, I can't imagine they're not going to pursue him hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%.
I just can't fathom that he's going to leave after all that and not want another chance with that group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I can really see a big year coming up for Vlad, and because of this playoff run. We got 8 homers, something like 15 or 16.
Absolutely incredible.
He was hitting over 400. Like I think he's gonna probably take another step. Like in 2021, I think he had 48 or 49 home runs, and he finished second in the AL MVP voting.
Right,
I could see him, having a really good bounce back this upcoming year, like hitting a lot more home runs for power. And I know it's really early to say, but I could see the Jays as another contender next year for sure. Like
I hope
the
so.
AL's still wide open.
I really hope so. The only thing is for me is that with baseball is that it's really hard for a team to go back, especially with how our team is built. Like, I don't want to jump the gun here, but pretty much, apart from winning the World Series, obviously, almost everything went right for this team. I feel like, at least in my eyes,
there were a lot of injuries.
Yeah. That's a good point as well. There were some injuries, but like in terms of like the guys stepping up, it almost feels like everyone stepped up at the right place at the right time, and they all did their jobs. That I just feel like it's like the odds of that happening again, like Clement having the season that he had, the playoffs that he had, Barger having this year that he had, Lucas, who was in the minors for about 10 years or something ridiculous down in Buffalo, and finally gets a chance, and he now is an everyday starter for us. I just don't see that carrying over to next season.
Yeah, but I
hope it does, but I just don't. It's hard.
Like, you remember when the Raptors won in 2019? And Van Vliet had like a really good year off the bench, and Siakam was one most improved. Those guys continued to play well, and Siakam the next year was an all-star starter. Van Vliet became an all-star eventually. I think you can't really undermine those guys. The thing is now with the Jays is that, like, their offense, their pitching can have some work done, right?
Yeah.
They kept Bieber, which is good, but I'm expecting them to maybe sign some more guys.
For sure.
But offensively, who are you going to replace? You want a guy like Lucas in there that can get on base and create long at bats. You want a guy like Clement in there to get hits, get on base always.
Yeah.
Like Jimenez is great defensively. Varsho is great defensively, and offensively during the regular season he was pretty good, and in the playoffs he had some big moments.
Apart from
who are you gonna replace? Let's be real. Point, Anthony Santander is coming back fully healthy next year.
You can't replace anyone. I think you just have to run it back with the group
and
again.
You have to hope that those guys
and you have to hope the luck just goes your way.
That's for me. That's what I was trying to make out. It's not about replacing those guys. It's about making sure that they can maintain that.
I agree.
Absolutely. Because if they don't, then I don't want to.
But they're going to have to keep Bichette.
100%.
It's vital for them to keep Bichette. If they don't keep him, I don't see them making it. Like, the thing is with the AL East is that it's contentious, but let's be real. I don't know if the Yankees are that great of a team. Like, come on now. They have good star power, but I don't know if they can make a run.
I mean, they've got a really good rotation. It's just that bullpen.
Well, with
it's
questionable. Cole, he's going to be coming back
Garrett
next
Cole,
year.
Rodon coming back.
Schlittler.
He stepped up in the playoff.
Yeah.
And plus, it's the Yankees. They could sign who knows in free agency, we still have to look out for that.
But Bellinger's opting out of his contract.
That's interesting.
Really? I did hear about that. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. That could be a potential ad for the Jays, but who knows? Who knows
I don't think they'll go for him. Like, he's a left-handed bat, but still, I don't see them going for a guy.
They don't need an ad. Just run it back.
I agree with them. Like, defensively, the outfield could get a bit better, but if you think about it, ideally, the infield is probably going to be Vlad, Bichette, probably Bichette at second, Jimenez at shortstop, and then Clement at third. And the outfield will probably look something like maybe Lucas in left field, Varsho in center, and then Barger in right.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of Barger in right. His arm is great. Like, he's got a cannon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could see this. They're young, too. Remember, they have a Savage, who had an insane postseason. Yeah. So I can see them really growing and making a run back. But I also want to talk about something that is being talked about a lot nowadays in the MLB, and that is the salary cap.
Yeah, that's a huge topic.
We'll see. I hope they do.
I think the lockout's coming. It's just inevitable at this point.
Yeah, with the Dodgers win, that's definitely almost confirms it.
It's too much of an advantage for the bigger markets that you just can't keep the parity in the league.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. 100%. I think if they take out the salary cap, or bring in a salary cap, they can be like, the league will benefit so much more off of it.
And more importantly, they need a salary cap floor, because not only do we see all these big market teams spending, outbidding constantly. There's so many cheap owners that won't even invest just a bit in their team to field a competitive team. You also need a floor to ensure that there is also
There's
that
no
parity.
more money ball or instances like that where teams are right
like
at
the
floor
Athletics, they're not spending anything.
Example,
The Orioles have started spending, so that's good. They're gonna have a really great team.
But the Orioles also drafted really well.
They drafted
like
really
Rushman,
well. So.
Henderson. They're going to be great. But like that's what I'm saying. Like maybe the Orioles can make a jump in the AL East because they had a disappointing season.
They should.
But that's really only time will tell, right? Like we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. But I just think that this year with the Dodgers making it, their pitching staff in Game 7 was over $1.2 billion. Isn't that insane? That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's insane.
That's more than the payroll than half of the MLB probably combined. Like that's out of this world. That just shows.
And it's just going to keep getting bigger.
They need
realistically.
a salary cap in the league. They need it. And like, look, the Jays have one of the biggest markets. We're Jays fans. The Mets have one of the biggest markets. Come on,
I can't complain except for the fact we spend the most money and we still don't make the playoffs. So we have nothing to lose. Listen. In terms of what's good for the league, not what's good for individual teams, I'm all for a salary cap if it ensures parity in the league.
Yeah,
that's the most important
thing. You're going to start seeing teams that have smaller markets, like maybe Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, maybe even Miami. They might really jump up and make a jump in the standings. But the thing is when they do the lockout, what's going to happen with the Dodgers are still going to be the Dodgers. They're not going to take players off their team, right? That doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But, I just think it's really going to be, we're going to have to see when it comes around. It's probably going to be 2027 if they do a lockout.
Yeah, most likely.
So it's going to be really interesting, and I hope they implement it, man, for the better of the league.
Right.
And,
I think they will for sure, especially if the Dodgers win.
They have to.
If the Dodgers win again, a three-peat, I think.
They're locking out the next night.
Absolutely will, 100%. Speaking of wins, and a very important one for a certain person's team on the weekend, the Bills defeated the Chiefs on Sunday afternoon. Bills fan over here, Christian.
Yeah, it was a great game. There's a few big problems. First being the defense. The defense, they gave up that 4th and 17, that terrible play. Also, bad blitzes that gave Mahomes too easy of a throw downfield. But overall, a great game. The offense was good. Allen was good. They went down. They scored 4 touchdowns against a pretty good defense. Overall, I'm satisfied, but those are the kind of mistakes that they made that will come to haunt them in the playoffs. And the regular season game is nice and all, but what really has to happen is we have to get it done in the playoffs. It's been 4 times. There's no excuses this year.
Well, I mean, if they play them again, it honestly for me depends on where it is. I think I mentioned this before in a previous episode. If they play in Arrowhead, I don't have the Bills' chances. If they play in Buffalo this year, now, I feel like now there could be the time where they.
I agree, but I don't know if we saw it in the World Series. I don't know if home field plays as much of an advantage as we think it does.
In football, it will because it disrupts the signals. If a quarterback's at the line of scrimmage trying to call a play, they can't. The receivers can't hear.
Yeah.
They have to call it. I feel that football home field matters the most. But in other sports, I'd say it does matter. It's just
I would say football, then hockey,
hockey,
then baseball, and then basketball.
Actually, baseball might matter quite a bit. Don't they have to communicate? It's hard to communicate in the outfield.
Well, the thing is, if you have home field advantage, actually, that's a good point, because if you have home field advantage in the MLB, because then if you go to extra innings, you get to know how many runs your team has scored. But again, like we saw in the World Series, like the Dodgers had the first chance in the 11th inning and they scored, and the Jays couldn't capitalize. So, I think home field advantage only matters so much to the point where it's like, okay, who's the better team? And
unless you're the Astros. Unless you're the Astros. I'm going to just throw it out there.
2017 Astros.
Yeah. We all know what happened.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, but I can really see the Bills making a run this year. I think this might be it.
Well, the trade deadline was pretty disappointing for the Bills. There's some big news around the league. Sauce Gardner to the Colts for 2 first-round picks. I think the Colts are legit. They're going all in, clearly.
Yeah.
The Jets fire sale. Quinnen Williams went to the Cowboys. That's another big addition for the Cowboys. But there's a few other trades. Rashid Shaheed went to the Seahawks. But a quiet trade deadline for the Bills, which is disappointing for a lot of us, considering we really wanted that true number one receiver for Allen. And also the defense clearly needs a lot of help. We're bottom 3 in our rush defense, I believe. And we just need a ton of help. There's still a ton. As good as this team is, as good as Allen is, they just need more pieces to become a true contender.
Yeah, I agree. But, the Jets, they did a good, they're not contending this year, so they did a good job by stockpiling picks, right?
Yeah.
Now they're set for the next couple drafts, so we'll have to see what they do with that. It's going to be really interesting. It seems like they've been misery for so long.
They've been rebuilding for a while. This is like their
Christian, would you say
rebuild.
they're like the NFL version of the Buffalo Sabres?
Yeah, it's just constant rebuild. You think you have something going, you have a core piece, and then it doesn't work out. First they had Sam Darnold, that didn't work out for him, and then funny enough, Sam Darnold's in the MVP conversation. Then with Zach Wilson, he didn't work out. He's a backup now. So yeah, they haven't found that guy at quarterback, which has been their main issue. However, yeah, it's just been a constant state of rebuild. There's really nothing too much to say, and then it's just been failure after failure after failure.
Yeah, they have not been.
It's just a
not
constant
been good
rebuild.
The last couple of years, and they definitely need a big turnaround. Speaking of turnarounds, one team that has started to get things going are the Ravens. Obviously, they were 1-5 at one point, and now they're slowly working themselves back to get back into that wild card spot. Obviously, Lamar Jackson coming back as well. Very, very big addition to that lineup for them. Do you guys think they meet the playoffs at this rate with the way they're going right now?
I'm pretty confident they will. They weren't a bad team just because they were 1-5. They were dealing a ton of injuries on the defensive side,
and their schedule too was rough at the beginning.
There was a rough schedule. Lamar was hurt, so it's really not surprising to see that they're turning it around. We all knew that they were a good team. It's just, can they win the division, having that despite that slow start? Obviously, Pittsburgh coming off a huge win against the Colts.
Yeah.
That's a really tough division.
Yeah, and it's pretty open right now. It's pretty wide open right now. Anyone can win that division
Burrow
right now.
can come back soon, maybe the Bengals can outscore all of their problems, but I doubt it. It's between the Ravens and the Steelers, I think. I don't really view the Bengals unless they improve that defense.
Lamar is such a game changer, man. He is we talk about a guy like Josh Allen. Lamar is so similar but so different at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think he can bring them to the playoffs. I think they're easily going to make the playoffs, but we'll have to see if they're going to be able to compete. In the AFC, it's a tough half of the league, man. You got KC, you got the Bills, you still got the Bengals, who aren't a bad team, and you got the Steelers, right? So, but I don't know personally. To me, I don't see it coming down to anyone else but the Bills and the Chiefs. It always seems like they're gonna.
Yeah.
It always seems to happen that way, where it's everyone's anticipating another team. Oh, this team's really good this year, and then regardless of seeding, they just find a way to meet each other. So I would not be surprised if somehow the Chiefs had this crazy ending to the season and the Bills were back in Arrowhead. It's unlikely, but it's very possible considering the tiebreaker. We should finish ahead of them, but nothing's guaranteed.
Exactly. It honestly, for football, that's one of the biggest sports where matchup is most important than anything. Because again, it's only one game. If you're home, if you're away, you don't know where you're going to play. You got to play the one team, and that's kind of that, right? So we'll see what happens. Of course, nothing in the deadline, but the Bills are still, regardless if they add someone or not, they're still one of the favorites, and they will always be one of the favorites
when
for
they
the
have
time
Josh
being.
Allen.
Exactly.
As long as Allen's there, they have a chance.
Exactly. Moving on to the NBA, we have some important topics to go over. Obviously, now we're a bit more into the season now. I'm going to go back to you, Christian, because your Thunder are undefeated right now, 7-0.
I don't say this to be biased, but I genuinely would be stunned if we did not go back-to-back. The reason being, Jalen Williams is still out, 7-0 still. Chet was injured in a game. You just had Shea. 2/3 of that core were out, and they still pulled off a win. They have not lost yet. So what that tells me is they haven't indicated that they're slowing down, and they haven't proven otherwise that someone can beat them.
I don't know. I think there is a bit more competition now in the West, though.
100%.
I think you undermine
there is
the Lakers.
Yeah.
The T
But
Wolves.
realistically, who's gonna win 4 out of 7?
I mean,
I don't say this to be cocky or biased. I just think it's objectively, they're the best team, and
I don't know, man. I agree. I think the Thunder will probably make it to the finals once again this year, and probably win once again this year. But I don't think it's that plain and simple. You know, like you have the Lakers, right? Okay, I'm not a Lakers fan, but what they're doing right now is like. They're playing some good basketball.
Without LeBron.
Austin Reeves is playing great.
Yeah.
Jake LaRavia is playing good. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but anyways.
Correct, yeah.
And then, you got the leader, Luka Doncic, who is playing outstanding to start the season. I wouldn't want anyone else on my team. I think he's been the best player in the NBA so far to start the season. No. And, I think he should be the favorite for the MVP if he didn't get injured. So, to say that the Thunder are just going to, roll through the West is not a fair statement to other teams.
I'm not saying they're good. I'm not saying they're guaranteed to win. I'm just saying if I had to assess the Thunder versus the field, I'd say the Thunder have a better combined percentage to win. They're probably, I'm gonna say it's the 55% chance the Thunder are gonna win the championship.
They're a dynasty.
45% chance any other team.
The last
they probably will.
They are a dynasty. I think it's we all knew it last year, but the Pacers, man, they took them to the brink. Yeah. They really I think if Halliburton didn't get injured, man, they were gonna. I think the Pacers could have won that
win that game 7, man.
I think it would have been close. Yeah, they could have won.
They could I think in a close game, the Pacers win that game.
Yeah. But we have to understand that the Thunder have gotten even more experience from that now.
Yeah, you're right.
Better.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
But it'll just be more difficult.
But the Lakers have experience too. Luka's been to a finals.
And
LeBron has how many rings? 4.
Yeah, he's been
LeBron has 4 rings.
One COVID ring.
One COVID. Mickey Mouse.
Okay. Yeah.
okay. I don't know, man. I just think there's one guy that I really think messed up, man. That's Nico Harrison.
We got to talk about that right now.
How do you mess up like that?
You can't trade Luka.
Come on, man. And Cooper Flag, he's a great player, but he hasn't been playing up to the ability that he should be. I know that he's just a rookie, but I don't know, man. I think the Mavs expected a lot more out of him than what they're getting. And
100%. I mean, it is early, so we don't want to jump the gun on him just yet. It's only been a couple games.
It is very early.
But it always everything when talking about the Lakers or the Mavs, or particularly Luka Doncic and Cooper Flag now, or Anthony Davis as well, is you always go back to the trade from last February, and you're thinking with how good Luka Doncic is playing right now and how much better he's looked as a player, it's how could you trade him?
I don't know, man.
He's got to regret that. He has to regret that. There's no way. They're playing so good right now without LeBron, and he was even out for a couple of games not too long ago, and they're still winning. It's beyond me how we even thought to trade him, but. Best believe, like I mentioned earlier, obviously OKC probably the favorites to make it out of the West again, but there's a lot of teams in there who could give them a run for their money.
Oh, yeah.
The Lakers with LeBron coming back,
I could see a series push to 6, maybe 7 games if health is an issue for the Thunder. But I don't know. We've won every game we've needed to so far, despite the injuries, and I just can't see us taking any steps back once Williams comes back to the lineup. I don't see it.
I agree. I think you guys are the undeniable favorite. I think you guys will probably do what you did last year, same thing. But I mean, you never know. If the Lakers can make a run, if Luka can cement his, legacy there, and it's really. I think this year it's going to be a lot more competitive in the West than it was last year. Although last year the Nuggets pushed you guys to 7. It wasn't an easy series against the Nuggets.
It wasn't at all.
So. But I want to move on to the East really quick and talk about the Raps because, surprisingly, what are they, 4-4 to start the season?
I believe they're
they're not doing bad at 500. And not just that, but some specific guys on the Raptors. We got R.J. Barrett and Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram.
Barnes
they're all showing up.
Barnes
they're all playing
good,
great.
Yeah.
They're actually the only team in the NBA to have 3 guys averaging over 20. Those 3 in particular. And their defense has been good. Their movement has been great. They just beat the Bucks last night. Yeah. George, what do you think so far?
They absolutely killed the Bucks yesterday. That was a great game. I mentioned earlier, I love what Scotty Barnes is doing right now. The thing with Scotty Barnes is that he had a good strong start in his rookie year. He had a similar year the year after, and then he made a jump. And then last year, he followed that year, kind of similar in stats. He always has this thing where he takes a jump and then has one more year to make sure he reassures at that level and then takes another jump again.
Right.
This year, he's taking that jump again. He's taking that leap, and we can all clearly see his playmaking, his defending, his ability, his touch around the rim. It's like he's slowly developing, he's slowly growing himself, and he's slowly adapting, dare I say, into a superstar.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
I think that's a bit.
No, I don't think it's a stretch. Honestly, he has made all
You
those.
think he could be a superstar? I think that's a bit of a stretch.
I think
he could. I'm not saying he will.
Do it.
He could. Yeah, he has all the tools, and that's a Raptors team that again they need that number one guy so desperately. And if you can, they need a guy to step up into that role, and it could be him if they're not willing to trade.
And right now, he's the closest guy we have.
He's
to
the closest.
That.
Yeah,
I agree. I think he's probably at the peak of his career. He'll probably average around 24 points, 24 to 25.
Yeah.
Maybe like 8 or 9 rebounds and probably between 5 and 6 assists a game. And then defensively, he'll probably do really well as well, averaging near 1.5 to 2 blocks and steals a game.
So far,
So, look, I don't disagree with you completely, but I don't think that's what makes a superstar in today's NBA.
No, yeah.
We talk about
superstars.
superstars, we're talking at least like 28, 29 points per game.
Yeah.
You know, like Luka Doncic numbers, Shea numbers, Wemby numbers. That's what we're mentioning when we're saying superstar. So that's why I don't categorize him as that yet.
Yeah.
If he can prove me wrong and maybe go up to average like 28 or 29 points a game, then we're talking superstar level because he has that two-way play. But I think, you know, the Raptors are a great team, man. Like I think like they are gonna make the playoffs. You know, they could probably pass through the play-in easily if they play as a team, and it's really going to be dependent on the development of their younger stars, right? That's what we'll have to see, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we got to see if we also got to see if he continues what he's doing, and if the rest of the guys can get back on board, and you know they push through, and hopefully they get more wins out of the next stretch here of games. Yeah. And we'll see what goes on with them. But so far, Scotty Barnes has really surprised me all. Speaking of surprise, I want to give a shout out to one more team that's surprised a lot of people so far. Are the Chicago Bulls. They had a very big comeback win last night against the Sixers and a battle for top spot in the East. And right now they sit atop of the East in a situation where no one even thought they'd be remotely close to this position. And they're playing really well right now. Josh Giddey's been absolutely fantastic. They have their young guys who've came in. Of course, Mattis Buzelis is the important one to me. He's been unbelievable, and they've really surprised me so far.
Yeah,
they've really surprised everyone
shocking,
so far.
Man. I don't even remember the last time I would say, oh yeah, the Bulls are going to be like top 5 or top 6 in the conference because no one would say
they've been
that.
Sort of average for the last while.
They've been playing and around.
Listen, I don't know if they're going to sustain it. Like maybe Vucevic, I don't know if Giddey can sustain his numbers either, but I don't know. It's difficult because like you usually see at least like one team come out to this crazy start, and previously they haven't played all too great. So I think like they're bound to take a step back, but I could definitely see them as a playoff team at least.
Really?
The East is pretty open. So at least in the play-in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see why they can't make.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to be a top 3 seed because I think the Knicks are going to jump up. The Cavs are going to be really good.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
Whether it's the Magic or the Pistons or whoever it is, they're going to have a good, season.
Yeah.
So. I like their configuration. I really like their roster. When they traded for Giddey, I'm like, okay, yeah, I think this is a good team. But it's just like they're missing that number one guy. You know, they're not contenders yet. They need to. This is a thing, right? Okay, are they going to make the playoffs and continue to be a fringe team? And like, because they're not going to win a ring. Let's be real. With their core right now, they're not winning.
They'd have to add.
They need a superstar.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chicago is a pretty big market. You know, we know that.
Yeah.
But are they going to be able to bring in a guy that can produce for them like that?
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Because in the NBA, like, not only does it take an entire team to win a ring, but you also normally need a superstar. You look at the last couple of rings, you see. Guy like Shea leading the Thunder, a guy like Tatum leading the Celtics, Jokic with the Nuggets, Curry with the Warriors.
Yeah.
Like, you need a superstar in your team to win a ring, and the Bulls don't have that.
I think that's the system a lot of teams are trying to replicate, where you have that one superstar. So, for example, a Thunder, They have Shea, and then you have those two supporting pieces, which would be Chet and Jalen Williams. And then you have this good defensive system. You don't need superstars, but you have good sound defensive players. You have Caruso, you have Hardenstein. So I think that's a system a lot of teams are understanding. You don't need a super team to win in today's NBA. You just need a good system, and you need a superstar that can step up when things aren't going too great, because inevitably you're going to have bad games where you need someone to put the team on the back. So that's why I like how the Thunder are built. Yeah, they don't rely. They're not over reliant on Shea, but he can step up and put the team on the back when needed.
Yeah. No, we'll see. We'll see what transpires with the Bulls. A, can they maintain their positioning right now? And B, will they add anyone in the offseason next season to try to improve their situation right now? Good start for them, but can they continue it? We will find out soon. Speaking of hot starts, I want to go over to the NHL really quickly, because the New Jersey Devils have caught a lot of heat over the last couple of weeks, and they are on a fire and they are on a heater right now. What do we think about the Devils so far? I love everything I'm seeing.
They're
from
not
them right
first in the East. I'll say that.
Who's first? There's one team that's first in the East. I know who's first in the East right now. I didn't say they're first in the East. I'm just saying that they have caught my eye particularly. Okay. No bias, of course. Okay. But the Devil, like we talked about the Habs. We talked about the Habs the last couple of weeks. I think. And listen, they're playing fantastic.
I think the Devils are playing great hockey. You know, it's been, but I don't know. For me, I always see them. They always have great starts. The Devils, they always do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's inevitable. A good point too. Yeah. So I don't care how they start. If they start good, that's good. But they need to continue that throughout the season. You need to see a guy like Hughes stay healthy throughout the season. Even his brother stay healthy. And they need good goaltending. That's a big question mark for me with the Devils, is their goaltending. They have Allen and Markstrom. Yeah. They have to be able to perform if they want to win, if they want to do well in the playoffs. Yeah. They need to perform. You cannot rely on the offense. Listen, they have great offense. They have Hughes, they have Heischer, they have Bratt. I love their core, but they need the goaltending to really be sound, 100%. Especially because Markstrom is a bit questionable, ever since he left the Western Canada. So we'll see. Christian, what do you think of their start?
I mean, Markstrom, he doesn't seem like the same guy he was in Vancouver, even in Calgary. I feel the Devils, they're not a playoff team yet. They don't have the makeup.
They're not a playoff team?
No, sorry, they're not. Okay, let me clarify they're a team that makes the playoffs, but like they're not a playoff team in the sense that like they perform their best hockey in the playoffs. That's what I meant to say. I think
like the Leafs.
They're gonna end up in that matchup against the Hurricanes constantly, and I don't see why they're gonna win it. Their defense is not better. The Hurricanes have that better goaltending, or I think at least in the playoffs they do. Then the Hurricanes still have that offensive depth. You don't have necessarily like a superstar player like Hughes, but you have Aho, you have Jarvis, you have guys down the lineup, you have physicality. And I just think that's a matchup that the Hurricanes are going to win more often than not. So that just to get out of that division is really challenging for them.
A big question for me this year is, how are the Panthers going to perform? Because we've seen them start off like a bit slow, Obviously, I don't doubt them, because I know they've won back-to-back rings.
And they have injuries right now. Anyway,
and they do have injuries, like Kachuk is out and a bunch of other guys. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with them, because, like, I don't know if they're going to be able to compete anymore in the East like they used to, because you have, like, the East is so open, man.
I'm not concerned one bit about the Panthers. I'll tell you why. They've been in this position before where they've had injuries. Okay, we'll just put him on LTIR. We'll add someone. He'll come back during the playoff time, and then we'll play that. But now there's
the contract. You can't do that anymore.
No,
you can't.
Well, you never could do it to begin with, but they've always found loopholes. Tampa's found loopholes. Vegas has found loopholes. Somehow, some way, the good teams will find those loopholes.
Yeah, I agree.
So I just can't bring myself to be concerned about the team that's won back-to-back championships. As long as they get into the playoffs, they are a threat to any team they verse.
I was about to say that if they get in the playoffs, because again, like Joe said earlier, they've been a little shaky in the last couple of games. And most recently, they got absolutely destroyed in Anaheim by the Anaheim Ducks. Yeah. And speaking of the Ducks, speaking of hot starts, they've looked really, really, no pun intended, the Ducks are literally flying right now. They have been very, very good so far. Coach Quenneville, obviously the new head coach, and he's gotten a lot out of these young guys. Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlson have been playing absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cutter Gauthier is going to be a superstar one day.
I think so as well.
I saw a stat today. He's one of him, McDavid, and Matthews are the only three players that were under 21 and scored like 10 goals in their first 12 games or something like that, or 10 goals in their first 10 games. Some crazy out of this world stat. And man, it just shows like the Ducks quietly built up their team. They have they have good defense. They have Zellweger. And they have Dosal, right?
Minchkov's great. That Lacombe contract, it looks good. He's looked great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the Ducks can make the playoffs. They'll probably be a wild card, I assume.
Yeah.
But that's a big step for them.
I think so.
It's been a while.
I've changed my prediction. I think they're going to get in over the Canucks. Their offense is already so good. They're just going to continue to get better, and they're going to be in the top 3 division spot going forward.
Wow. You think they're going to stay top 3 in the division?
Top 3.
Starting next year. I mean, they're only going to be one. I think LA might fall off a bit.
Yeah,
obviously, there's concerns. We don't know if Adrian Kempe is resigning.
Kopitar's retiring.
Kopitar's retiring. Andrei Kuzmenko only resigned for 1 year.
Kind of a rough
Kemper's
start.
been shaky, so there's a lot of question marks for the Kings.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason why they can't take that top 3 spot from them and compete with Edmonton and Vegas.
Yeah, I agree. I think some teams have also really fallen off in the West are. One team specifically is St. Louis, which is a shocker to all of us. And they were a wild card team last year, and this year they're down there with Calgary. Yeah. You don't want to be there.
And not only were they a wild card team, they were literally a second or 2 seconds away from beating the best team in the league. That is unbelievable to think of. And here they are now, and they're in the McKenna Bowl essentially, fighting with Calgary to who can finish last and get that first overall pick or get the best odds at least. But yeah, they've been struggling.
I'm really surprised. I thought I love Robert Thomas. Hometown boy. He's from Aurora.
I love Robert.
Went to my elementary school, so I love that guy.
Fun fact.
But man, it kind of sucks to see. I root for St. Louis because I like Binnington. I like
and they
Robert
have a solid
Thomas.
team. That's the thing.
I like Kyrou.
They have a good team.
They've had
good
some
that
Bolduc trade is not faring well for them at all.
No.
Mayu has played some rough games.
Good trade for the Habs, not for the
Habs fleeced them, you could say.
I mean, Bolduc's had a crazy start.
Yeah, but we'll really have to see when it comes down to the line, who's going to make it in the wild card and who's going to, because I don't see St. Louis making it anymore, man.
I didn't have them to begin with.
I don't think I had them.
And as well, it's also Minnesota has had a rough start.
That's more
What's going on with that, buddy?
That's more surprising to me. Obviously Kaprizov signed that huge contract. They don't have, which I think honestly he deserved it because he generates 50% of their offense anyways. So, but yeah, they just haven't been able to figure out their power plays looked amazing, but their defense is shaky. And I think the most concerning thing is probably Philip Gustafsson. A guy who's been consistently around a top 10-ish goalie in the league, and he has just not found his game this year. So I think that's probably their biggest concern. And the defense as well. Again, the power play has been great because you have those offensively talented defensemen. You've got Buem, you've got Favor producing offense. But where's the actual defense on that team? So the offense is not a concern for the Wild. It's just their defense and goaltending.
Yeah, I agree. I think it sucks to see that they're not doing well, especially when Kaprizov signed that huge deal. You got to show up, man.
He's shown up.
I was gonna say, he's been showing up.
The team has.
The rest of the team hasn't been doing, but they've got to pick it up for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of defense, right now, listen, obviously Kel Makar, we all know, is probably the best defenseman in the world, and I don't think it's hard to really fight against him. But I will say is that there are some players who have been really, really impressing so far to potentially compete for him for the Norris Trophy. One of them, of course, being the rookie, unironically, Matthew Schaefer. Obviously, we all know how good Makar is. We all know how talented he is. But the start that Matthew Schaefer's had on that Islanders team, we talked about it before, but and I heard him mention it again. Here we are, a couple more games in the season now, and he's just been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I think he's going to compete for that Norris Trophy. He's 100%. Probably going to win the Norris Trophy in a couple. Maybe in 5, 6 years.
He'll win several in his career.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So, the only competition, that's going to be great. You talk about Schaefer, Makar, and Hughes, and the competition that they've had. Now you've got, funny enough, I think in the next years to come, you're going to have Hudson and Schaefer
Yeah.
battling for that Norris Trophy.
100%.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch.
Once McCarr and Hughes move out of their prime, I think that's going to be the leading next generation. And
100%.
you know, I really like Schaefer's game. I like Hudson's game, and you know, Hudson's quietly been playing pretty well to start the season, but Schaefer just on that Islanders team it's special to put up the numbers that he's putting up, and I think that shows how good he's been to start the season.
And again, with being a first round pick, you have that expectation, you have that hype around you, but no one, including us here on the panel, no one thought that he'd be this hot to start up. And he's just been absolutely incredible. And again, I like that. Like we said earlier as well with Hudson and Schaefer. For me, in the next couple of years, they're going to be the modern day Hughes and McCarr. Battling out every single year, being the best defense in the league, and battling out for contracts and for playoff positioning, and of course trying to get cups and Norris trophies and all these.
And
all
also, funny enough, Hughes has brothers in the NHL. Hudson has brothers that are coming up in the NHL.
Doesn't Cale McCarr also have a brother in the AHL?
I'm not sure.
I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like he does. I feel like I've seen that before.
I saw something they recalled.
Yeah, I think he does too.
It must be a trend. If you're a top defenseman, you need a brother or something.
Yeah, literally, And again, Hudson and Hughes left-handed, McCarr and Schaefer right-handed.
Is Hughes going to stay in Vancouver? That's another question.
That's another question,
Or does he go to New Jersey?
I mean, that could be the missing piece New Jersey needs to actually be a top contender.
If they get him,
I could see it. You know what? I'm sure it's a dream for all of them to play on the same team. So, yeah, I wouldn't doubt at all that Quinn Hughes is definitely considered that.
Hughes would have to be the number one guy, and then Luke would have to be on that second D pairing, I think. It would probably be Luke or Quinn and Nemec, and then like I don't know who else the Devils have. Do they still have Damon Severson?
Dougie Hamilton. If he's still there, he's getting up there.
Yeah. Injury prone as well.
I miss
injury prone.
Andy Green, Wow.
Islanders
what a
legend.
player.
Islanders legend right there. Yes, sir.
What a player.
You know, I think we should move on and talk about another thing that's been really surprising me this year. We talk about, you know, unironic special seasons. Kiefer Sherwood.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
9 goals.
I have him on fantasy. Yep. What a pickup right there.
That's crazy.
What a pickup.
He has been the only guy that's really been producing that well other than Quinn Hughes for the Nooks.
Yeah.
And, man, he's been
just straight
so
goals for that guy, eh?
Yeah.
Straight goals. I
don't think he has a single assist this season.
No assists, 9 goals, no assists.
Just pure goal scoring.
What a guy. But you got Caulfield up there. You got a guy like
Cutter Gauthier right up there. After his hat trick last night, I think he's tied at least for the league.
Yeah, probably. If he has 10, he's tied at least.
I believe he has 10.
I know McKinnon's also up there with 10 goals. Morgan Geekie has 9 goals so far.
God, wow.
That's a breakout.
With the Bruins as well. Again,
well, he's on the line with Pasternak, right?
Yeah.
But Pasternak is a guy who can pot 50 to 60 goals a season. So
he's probably taking a bit more of a playmaker.
Yeah, that's a bit surprising that Geekie's took on the goal scoring.
Yeah, there's been a lot of wild cards for this Rocket Richard race for sure.
Yeah, well, you know who hasn't been really showing up? I mean, Austin Matthews.
Okay, stop it. He has 7 goals, all right? Everything's okay. And one of those goals came in a certain game on Monday night.
I remember.
In a comeback game against your Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts about this before I get into it.
I don't. What else can I? Hey, don't laugh. Your team was up, scored 4 right now.
Okay. That's different.
Anyways, yeah, it's just classic embarrassing Penguins hockey of the 2020s. There's not really too much to say. That's the Tristan Jarry that we all know.
The Tristan Jarry experience, baby.
The Tristan Jarry.
That's theaters 2025.
Coming to the theater in the Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah, that's what we all expected to do. We all expected Jarry to do. And yeah, it's classic Penguins of the 2020s, just consistently blowing leads. I think we've blown like a dozen leads each season. So yeah, it's embarrassing.
I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that game myself watching that.
It's pretty embarrassing. We didn't even manage to get a point.
In the third period.
We lost that game in regulation.
In the third period, once the Leafs started putting on a bit more pressure, I was like, oh, man, this is
I knew after Nylander scored that goal, I'm like, all the momentum has just shifted. The building's into it. We're losing this game in regulation. I felt it.
I couldn't even hear the fans, man. Come on now. For the first 2 periods, they were like, it was like a live.
They were
area.
quiet. It
I
looked
don't
like
blame
Pittsburgh was gonna run away with it. They were up 3-0, dominating the first 2 periods of play, and it looked like they might even add 2 or 3 more goals, and it would be a complete blowout.
Ben Kindle though has had a great start to the season.
Yeah,
what about him, eh?
Great pickup by Dubas. I know some people don't like Kyle Dubas, but
yeah, I don't.
I like what he's done. He's done well with the hand he's been dealt.
Trade Crosby to Montreal.
I think you know why I don't like Kyle Dubas. I mean, it's pretty explanatory.
But he's done well with the hand he's been dealt. Obviously, you're coming off. Your team's kind of in the middle. You've got these aging veterans, and you want to rebuild, but at the same time, you want to honor those veterans and try and give them the best chance. So it's a really tough situation for any general manager to inherit, especially with the mess Ron Hextall made that has to be cleaned up before he can even move forward.
Yep.
So it's a tough position for Dubas. I like what he did. Obviously, that Kindle draft pick in a redraft. I know it's very early to be speaking about redrafts, but he could have gone top 5 in that draft.
He was in the 2025 draft, right? 2024? No, he's 2024.
No, he just got drafted. He's 18 years old. He just got drafted this year. Damn. He could be top 5 if the draft was held again today. He's been that good.
That's a great pickup, but I think the Pens have a good future. But they gotta look at the future. They can't try it. But it's gonna be interesting how they do this year because they've been playing good hockey and they've been winning games, and we're really gonna have to see if they can
not choke a 3-0 lead in the third period.
They always choke leads. That's part of their identity.
You look at the Habs, bro. Oh my God,
that was a tough. Yeah, a lot of comebacks.
Look, I'm not okay. We were down 3-0 in the first period. That was an abysmal first 10 minutes. First period overall, it was terrible. And then the second period, we had a really good second period. We come back, we score 4 goals. Ivan Demidov played great. And then the third, we just fumbled it. So. But I'm glad we got a point out of that. We did not deserve
At least you got a point.
To win that game. We did not deserve to win that game by any means. So I'm happy that we got a point.
I'm on the same boat for the Leaf and Penguins game. We did not deserve to win that game at all. Those first 2 periods, honestly, were one of the worst 2 periods of hockey I've seen in my life.
That was
a 4-goal lead you deserve to lose.
I'll be honest with you. I turned off my TV. I stopped watching the third period, and then I saw my phone. I saw them going up and up. And I said 3-1, 3-2, and I'm like, well, I gotta go watch it again. But yeah, no, it was a big confidence booster for the Leafs because obviously not the best start for us so far.
Yeah,
bit shaky to start the season out. Stolarz hasn't looked all that great. Our defending hasn't been all that great. Obviously, Matthews has been struggling a little bit in the last couple of games.
Yeah.
So this was a very, very big confidence booster, and a very, very intrigued to see if this is the turning point for us moving forward, because we always usually have a very, very slow October.
Yeah.
And usually the Leafs in November usually start picking things up again. I'm very, very hopeful, and I really, really wish that this is the turning point, and I hope it is, and I can hopefully I don't want to be in that middle of the pack again because it's so stressful, especially in April and March when you're fighting for a wild card spot. Do you guys think this is a turning point for the Leafs?
I think
no bias, of course.
I think it is. I mean, the East has been so close so far. With that win alone, they were like around last place, and now they're right in the mix for the top 3 in the division. So I'm not surprised. I mean, we all expected them to be a top 3 team in that division.
Yeah.
At the very least, if not win the division. So yeah, it is the turning point, and they'll just do what they've continued to do for the past few years. However, it's what happens in the playoffs. That's what they really have. I don't think they should be concerned at all with the regular season. They're going to get a top 3 finish in the division.
I think
that's not their concern.
I think it's really too early to tell if this is a turning point in the season for them because, they won. Let's be honest, they won 1 game, 2 games in a row now against Sabres or against Philly and then against Pittsburgh. And it's way too early to tell if it's a turning
100%, point. 100%.
Maybe in a month's time we can say, okay, that was a turning point. We could look back and say that.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, we cannot say that yet.
No.
The Leafs, they still have a long way to go, and every team has a long way to go, right? It's not even close to finished, but I think there's a game that's happening tomorrow night that's going to be really telling of. Maybe how the East might shape up a bit. We have the 2 best teams in the East, the Habs and the Devils. Who would have predicted that to start season facing off against each other? And I'm really pumped up for this game, man. I think it's going to be a great game. 2 young teams, and you got Hughes versus Suzuki, 2 of the best centers in the league right now, and it's going to be really interesting. Christian, who do you think comes out on top?
I'm going to say Montreal. I just don't think the Devils are that good of a team. They're not a cup contender yet. I think the Hurricanes will blow them out of the water again in the playoffs. They're still going to have to deal. Florida's not going anywhere come playoff time. I just think it's between Carolina and Florida this year in the East. I don't see. They just need more playoff experience. They're missing a piece on defense. I'd like to see more depth in their bottom six. They're a good team. They're going to make the playoffs, but that's pretty much it for them.
So you're saying they're going to lose tomorrow night against the Habs?
Yes.
I agree.
And they're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs for that matter.
Well, guess what? Ooh. We have listen. We have
Devils hater right here. Devils hater.
I don't.
Out.
For the score prediction, we have a clean sweep here. I'm also going to say the Habs are going to win.
Yeah.
Do you know, is the game in Montreal or is the game
It's in New Jersey.
In New Jersey, yeah.
So
that doesn't change too much.
Yeah,
I don't think it changes too much either.
For a regular season game,
I don't think it changes too much either because for me, one thing I've seen so far is that the Habs actually been pretty good on the road.
They have, yeah.
They have.
They've been like
so they've been playing pretty solid on the road so far. So I'm going to go for them again. They're in good spirits. They're playing well. All their young guys are all energetic. They're all excited. They're all they want it. You can tell they want it when they get out there. And they're playing good hockey, especially if Dobish starts. I think it's absolutely outrageous this season.
I think Dobish should start.
If he starts that game, I think it'll be another win for the Habs. I don't see I don't see them losing, unless Montembeault starts. I think then they may lose that game.
Yeah,
but if Dobish starts, I think the Habs.
Well, that's a goalie matchup, right? Even for the Devils, like if Allen starts, maybe he doesn't play as well as Markstrom, right? So that's all about a goalie matchup. But I think overall, like the team itself, I think they're pretty even. But
very
again,
similar.
It's way too early to tell.
Fast-paced
way
teams,
too early
teams,
to tell. Like we can't.
I honestly like the Canadiens' depth more than the Devils at this point.
Really,
like with Bolduc coming in.
Yeah, I like.
To be fair, Bolduc has been very, very, and Kapanen have been very, very.
But they have to continue to like get that bottom six depth because right now, like last night, I was watching the game, man. It was just a power play carrying us.
Yeah.
And it's like
that's what happens,
which is great. Like I like to see the power play producing with Demidov and with Suzuki and Caulfield and Slavkovsky and Hudson.
Yeah.
It's such a fun power play to watch. But man, you got to know how to like just close down leads. Obviously, to me, it was an unlucky loss like we deserved to lose that game, but we lost it in an unlucky way.
Right.
Because what happened was Montembeault lost his stick and then they just shot it from the point and they scored on a blocker side, so that's kind of lucky. And then we lost in a shootout.
Yeah.
So like, I don't really look at it as like that much to worry about, but I think it's a loss to learn from, in my 100%.
Opinion. As you said, again, it's early. Things happen like that in the playoffs. Obviously, comebacks happen all the time in the regular season, and you know what's happened. Shootouts, of course.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the regular season. But again, it's still early, and things start to pick up a lot in the NHL. Now, I want to quickly end off with our favorite segment, or at least Christian's favorite segment, Bet of the Night.
Christian, when are you getting your FanDuel blackjack?
Well,
when's it coming in?
If someone would like to sponsor us with FanDuel to score bet, that'd be great. But, nobody's reached out to us. So
what's our game for Bet of the Night tonight?
For Bet of the Night, let's go to the Thursday night game. In football, we've got the Broncos facing up against the Raiders. A real great matchup.
Oh, yeah.
For the prime time, but I think the Broncos are going to end up covering the spread of 9.5, just with how bad the Raiders have been playing. Geno Smith has thrown a ton of interceptions, so I do expect the Broncos to cover that 9.5 spread. Yeah, and that would be my bet of the night.
George, how about you? What are you gonna add to the parlay?
I was looking at Geno Smith's numbers earlier as well. Obviously, bad start for the season for him. A lot of Raider fans are not happy with how he's been doing so far with this new team. I saw that he has the same number of touchdowns as he has interceptions so far.
Yeah,
and that's not usually good for a quarterback. And again, I think the Broncos defense is one of the more underrated groups in the league, and for that reason, I'm going to go for one interception.
That's what I was going to go.
One interception for
that's a good
for Geno Smith.
I'm gonna go with his under on passing yards.
That's another one.
We all just talked about
just
it.
Fade Geno Smith. Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Hammer Geno Smith props is the way to go, I guess.
You're gonna hey, it's his parlay. If you lose the money, blame him. You comment. Blame Christian.
No refunds if you lose.
No refunds.
Sorry.
But it was a really good episode today. We're happy to be back.
Exactly. Yeah.
Obviously, we really enjoy coming on and talking about this every week. But you know, I want to say before we end, guys, like I just want to give a quick shout out to the Toronto Blue Jays, you know, for bringing us all together, for bringing a nation together, making us so happy. And like, you know, Vlad Jr., what a playoff run for them. And like, you know, without this, what would we have? You know, they played such a good series against the Dodgers. They played a good run, and we're all so proud of them. And we're looking forward to do it again next year, hopefully. Hopefully they can really make it, you know, make another run, maybe win the World Series. And also before we go, you know, if you guys wouldn't mind leaving a like and a subscribe to our channel, and also checking out our Instagram and our TikTok. You know, we do have other platforms other than our YouTube. That would be really cool. But George, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, one more thing I also want to add on to what we're also now on Spotify as well. If you want to take a listen on Spotify, more than welcome to. Please do. Please feel free to share your comments and likes for any of our YouTube videos, of course. Like I said earlier, Instagram Reels, TikToks. You know where to find us. The Spread Podcast. George, Joseph, Christian. Like we said before, you know who we are. We're the Spread Podcast, and we're out of here. Thanks for watching.